Welcome to Black Girl Say Something, where this black girl has something to say. And it has been 2 years since this black girl decided to say something. And I still haven't even said all that I could possibly say. To be quite honest with you, after so many years of people saying, you should start a podcast, you need to tell your story. I mean, even before going through a divorce and becoming a survivor of domestic violence, Ben was telling me that I needed to start a podcast. And, it took some years, it took some time. And then the podcast started as really just a journal, something that I can listen back to and say, wow, I remember when I said that and look at me living it out. Or I remember when I prayed for that and look at me making it through. Or look at me just basking in the glory of living in my prayers, right? Only to find a community of people who support me and a community of people who actually have something to say too, but hearing me say it gives them some sort of comfort. Hearing me say it lets them know that it will be okay. Hearing me say it is giving them the courage to say it too. And so just as a black girl who really just never wanted to be seen, I can say with confidence that I am someone who doesn't mind being seen, who doesn't mind being in the spotlight, who doesn't mind saying what it is that I feel, but ultimately saying what it is that I want, saying what it is that I will and will not do, saying what I will and will not accept, saying everything that you might be thinking, but I'm going to say it. And there's so much peace in saying something, and sometimes there's so much peace in saying nothing. And as much as I've said on this podcast, I can't even begin to tell you how many minutes and how many hours and how many episodes we even have. And I think I'll wait before I talk about that. But it's been 2 years that I decided to say, you know what? Welcome to Black Girl Say Something, where this black girl has something to say. And I've been saying something ever since. For those of you that listen to the Wellness Wednesday episodes and taking the advice and joining me on the challenges that I've created, and even the Motivational Mondays, I think I may just bring those back. But, an episode that would drop every Friday, and even if I missed a Friday, the episode was going to come within that week. Or that time for my birthday when I dropped an episode every day in October. That was very interesting. And who knew I even could do 31 days of an episode? And I did it too. And I was so proud of me. And finding just my ability to set goals for the podcast, set goals for myself. And our number one episode is still Settle versus Content, where I'm just a black girl realizing a lot of times we find ourselves saying we're content when in reality we're just settling and we could have asked for so much more. And sometimes settling brings about a certain type of dismay in our life where we're not even content. It's a false sense of being content. And to be content is to be happy with the things that you've asked for and you've obtained, and the things that you've attained, I should say. But Settle versus Content is still our number one episode. And even as more and more people listen, because it's not just women that listen to the podcast, but shout out to all of the women who listen. And it's not just black girls that listen either. But to every and anyone who has ever listened to the podcast, who has ever supported, who has ever left a review, who has sent emails, who have been guests on the show, who have commented on TikToks and said, hey, your podcast is helping me. I mean, I've received WhatsApp messages and emails and so many things over the last 2 years that has let me know I'm not doing this to be a viral podcast sensation. I'm doing this for me. And I think once I started to center myself, because that's why the podcast started, it was a letter to myself. And so what I will leave you with on this 2nd year anniversary of the podcast is to decenter anything that is not bringing you any joy, decenter anything that is not helping you fulfill your purpose. But center yourself so that you can feel joy, and center yourself so that you can live in purpose, on purpose. So remember, you can tune into Black Girl Say Something every Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But we are also over on YouTube, and we drop an episode on YouTube every last Friday of the month. So go ahead and give us a subscribe, hit that subscribe button. on the YouTube. I'll leave a link to our YouTube. I'll leave a link to our TikTok. I'll leave a link to our Facebook. And remember, there are subscriber-only podcast episodes that you can listen to for a small subscription fee. That will also be in the link in the description of this episode. So happy anniversary to Black Girl Say Something. Happy anniversary to me. 2 years in this thing, saying something, and something is being said, and people are listening. I'm so grateful for that. Thank you for listening.